I need to get something straight here. On Sunday, March 14th, Larijani makes a tweet saying that the remaining members of the Epstein class are plotting a 9/11 style false flag in the United States and that he fundamentally opposes it. By Monday, he's dead. And by Tuesday, today, Joe Kent, top U.S. counterterrorism official, resigns over Iran war, urging Trump to reverse course. Do I have that right? Mind you, longtime Trump supporter. During his confirmation hearings, he refused to denounce the idea that Trump actually won the 2020 election, by the way. That's how staunch a Trump supporter he is. And the day after they take out Larijani, which was the day after he warned the American public what the U.S. and their cohorts are planning on U.S. soil, he resigns his post and urges Trump to reverse course. This is what Larijani said. He said, Iran has no war with the American people. I've heard that the remaining members of Epstein's network have devised a conspiracy to create an incident similar to 9/11 and blame Iran for it. He added, Iran fundamentally opposes such terrorist schemes and has no war with the American people, while asserting that Tehran is defending itself against an aggression launched by the United States and Israel. Iran stands tall in doing so in order to teach the aggressors a lesson. 24 hours later, he's dead. A few hours later, he quits. Head of counterterrorism. And by the way, he posted his letter to X. He said Iran posed no imminent threat to the U.S. and claimed that the administration started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. Kent is a U.S. Special Forces and CIA veteran whose wife, Navy cryptologic technician Shannon Kent, was killed in a bombing in Syria in 2019. Kent is the most high-profile figure from within the Trump administration to publicly criticize the U.S.-Israeli operation in Iran. In the letter addressed to Trump, Kent alleged that high-ranking Israeli officials and influential U.S. journalists had sowed misinformation that led the president to undermine his America First platform. This echo chamber was used to deceive you into, this is a quote, this echo chamber was used to deceive you into believing that Iran posed an imminent threat to the United States, the letter continued. This was a lie. Kent, a longtime supporter of Trump who unsuccessfully ran for Congress twice, was nominated by the president early in his administration and narrowly confirmed to his post, with many Democrats criticizing his links to extremist groups, including members of the Proud Boys. In the confirmation hearing, Kent also refused to back away from claims that federal agents had fomented the January 6 riots at the U.S. Capitol or that Trump had won the 2020 election. This is a Trump ride or die, saying, Mr. Trump, you have been deceived. They lied to you. It's not too late to back out. He cited his military service and his wife's death in his letter, saying that he cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people, nor justifies the cost of American lives. And of course, this bitch, Caroline Leavitt, sorry, I got a call. So anyway, this bitch, Caroline Leavitt, says,
Hello everybody, how are you doing? I'm hoping that you are doing great from whatever you're watching this video from. As you know, I'm your host and presenter Agent Stories. Now, Trump is panicking. Trump is panicking because he knows that the truth is out there. And he knows that everyone has really seen what's really happening. And people are saying that they are not supporting the cause of what's really happening. Because this has led to devastating loss to people that co-signed all this thing that is going on. But at the end of the day, they are not benefiting anything. Like, they just keep on losing. And I think Trump is getting an awakening that the people that is serving him are really not who he thought they were. I mean, they're not a fool. Because they are grown-up people. and they can see everything that is going on. They can see the craziness that is going on with him. They can see the decisions that he's making that is affecting American citizens. I want to talk about something interesting which happened March 17th, 3 days ago. That is Joe Kent. Joe Kent is the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, that's the NCTC. I resigned from the Trump administration on March 17, 2026. And the reasons that he gave was that, first, Kent, a retired Green Beret and a former CIA officer, is the first high-ranking official to step down during Trump's second term over major policy. And the reason as to why he stepped down is that Kent stated that he could, in quotes, cannot, in good conscience, support the ongoing war in Iran. He argued that Iran posed no imminent threat to the U.S. and that the conflict was driven by pressure from Israel. He doesn't support the cause. And when people start to see what's really happening and what Trump really supports, because now it is a personal interest that Trump is having. It's not American interest. That's why you see people like Joe Kent leaving all these places and choosing his family, choosing the people that has really served him. You know, this has really have negative effects towards Trump and his administration. Because right now, people are getting to see him for who he is. And he can no longer use American citizens for what he wants. I think that's just sends messages. Because Iran has no imminent threats directly to the United States. Iran got issues with Israel. Because you know what Israel has been doing to Iran? Right now, Israel is getting them strikes. But Trump is panicking. Trump is panicking because the members that surrounds him.
That Kent suggested that Trump made the decision based on the influence of others, even foreign countries, is both insulting and laughable. As President Trump has clearly and explicitly, I cannot fucking stand. They think that if they just say he's been very clear, he's been very explicit, that it means something. He can say whatever the fuck he wants, and it can be very clear and very explicit, which, by the way, it never fucking is, because it changes from moment to moment. Whatever. He's been very clear to say he had strong and compelling evidence that Iran was going to attack. Yeah, exactly what this guy just said. They sowed misinformation that led the president to undermine his American First platform. The echo chamber was used to deceive you into believing that Iran posed an imminent threat to the United States. This was a lie. That's not inconsistent. He had compelling evidence that no one else was apparently privy to. That sounds like maybe people influenced him outside of actual intelligence. Caroline, use a lot of words to mean things that don't mean anything. Tucker Carlson says that Joe is the bravest man I know and he can't be dismissed as a nut. He's leaving a job that gave him access to the highest level relevant intelligence. The neocons will try to destroy him for that. He understands that and he did it anyway. This is a very big deal. This is a very, very big deal. This is the closest that we're getting or that we've gotten to a whistleblower. He is the top official on counterterrorism. He's the guy that would have all the fucking information that would be relevant. He is stepping down and posted a public letter to the president saying, "You've been deceived. I know who deceived you." And this move to bomb Iran was based on lies. This is a gigantic fucking deal, you guys. We all already knew it, but for one of their own to risk his livelihood, his reputation, and his fucking safety for it is a big fucking deal. You understand me? Caroline Levitt just parroting this bullshit, saying that all of the fucking run-of-the-mill canned stuff, like it's insulting and it's laughable, and that he had compelling evidence, vague bullshit, continuing to repeat that to, I don't know, it's not even really running cover because it's completely meaningless, but I guess it is running cover for the idiots that just fucking listen to Fox News and are like, oh, well, you know, she wouldn't say he had compelling evidence if he didn't have compelling evidence. What does that mean? It means nothing. And it's very much giving dear leader, and it's very much giving complicity, Caroline. It's very much giving that you're okay. You can support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people nor justifies the cost of American lives. It's very much giving that you're okay with that. Because how the fuck does your top counterterrorism official say no, no? And this is a forever Trumper we're talking about here. He's saying the threat did not exist. So where'd the very good information come from? His son-in-law? Who'd it come from? And who's the journalist? Dying to know. The guy, when asked about Cuba, so you're saying Cuba, that guy, the infant at the fucking table, like that guy who every time someone asks him a question on that Air Force One, he says, I have very good people. The people told me. I have people and they told me. That guy did not have very good information. That guy did not have compelling evidence. That guy listened to whoever the fuck he's got in his ear. Which, son-in-law, and who is the journalist?
Your director of national counterterrorism, Joe Kent, he just resigned today. He said he can't support your conflict with Iran. What's your reaction to that? And did you?
Well, I read his statement. I always thought he was a nice guy, but I always thought he was weak on security, very weak on security. I didn't know him well, but I thought he seemed like a pretty nice guy. But when I read his statement, I realized that it's a good thing that he's out, because he said that Iran was not a threat. Iran was a threat. Every country realized what a threat Iran was.
If you're like me, you probably never heard of Joe Kent, or you don't know much about him. So let's talk about him, because it is crumbling. I'm gonna post his letter of resignation at the end of this video. I want you to pause it, screenshot it, and read it. It's heavy and it exposes a lot. This was a lie and is the same tactic the Israelis used to draw us into the disastrous Iraq war that cost the nation the lives of thousands of our best men and women. You can reverse course and chart a new path for our nation, or you can allow us to slip further toward decline and chaos. You hold the cards. But here's why this is huge and why I say things are crumbling. Joe isn't just in the MAGA circle. He's the most America First person in DC. Despite what Trump says, he knew this guy. He treated him like the ultimate hero for the movement. But today, he was done, and that letter was calling Trump out. Basically telling the whole world the imminent threat isn't real. And that because we're only over there because of lobbyists and... Let's just think about this for a second, you guys. This isn't a Democrat complaining. This is the ultimate loyalist. The guy who defended J6. But now you have President Trump calling one of his top loyalists weak. So MAGA, are you guys America first, or are you Trump first? Because if Joe Kent says this war is a mistake, are you going to believe him? Or are you going to stay loyal to Mr. No More Wars?
Force. The only other circumstance under which a president can take military action like this is if he is doing so in the immediate defense of the country against an imminent threat that is so severe and so imminent that a president has no choice but to use military force, and there's no time to go to Congress to get authorization. That's it. Obviously, Congress did not authorize it, so the only way that this is legal is if Donald Trump was acting in the immediate defense of the country. And what does the director of the National Counterterrorism Center say? He said Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. Therefore, there is no legal basis whatsoever for Donald Trump to have done this. This war is illegal. This is an impeachable offense. He should be impeached, removed, and prosecuted. Now, of course, that's not going to happen, not right now. I'm not giving up hope that sometime in the not too distant future, hopefully, we will be able to impeach him, remove him, and prosecute this criminal piece of shit. But obviously, this is not going to happen right now. But that is the takeaway from this. I doubt.
So the person whose entire job it was to tell the leader what the actual threats were just quit. And on his way out the door, he said there was no threat. There's a term for this: whistleblower courage versus institutional complicity. This isn't a critic. This isn't the other side. This is an 11 combat tour Green Beret, a Gold Star widower, the man who literally read the intelligence every morning. And he put his name on a piece of paper that says, "We started this for someone else, not you." Psychologists call what just happened cognitive dissonance resolution, when someone with direct access to the truth can no longer reconcile what they know with what they're being asked to do. The mind forces a choice. He chose his conscience. The interesting psychological question isn't why he quit. It's why everyone else stayed, because the people who stayed read the same briefing.
Joe Kent officially resigned today, citing the war with Iran as his reason. And people are like, well, why aren't you cheering? Isn't this a good thing? Would you cheer for a rat that's jumping a sinking ship? I know I wouldn't. Whether you would is up to you. And at the end of the day, Joe Kent is resigning because he and other people within that guy in the White House's administration know that the war with Iran is vastly unpopular. The majority of Americans on both sides of the political spectrum, people that are even in the middle, say war with Iran is a bad idea. And so far, it's cost $21 billion last time I checked, likely higher, just to go over and bomb people in a different country, all in the name of regime change and oil. So Joe Kent resigning is literally just him jumping ship, a ship that is sinking. Right now, you have this essentially administration saying that NATO allies are not going to be providing any help militaristically to help get ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Now, keep in mind, the guy in the White House said the Strait of Hormuz is totally for sure open. He doesn't get to decide that, though. But people still need help getting through. What's going on now is you have these NATO countries that are saying, you know what, we're going to try to negotiate with Iran directly because the United States cannot guarantee safe passage. They're also saying, well, you guys didn't consult us before you went and you did this reckless and illegal bombing campaign against Iran. So why will we help you when Iran is showing itself to be a militaristic force? We don't want to get our stuff bombed too. At the end of the day, Joe Kent resigning. He's likely not going to be the first one. Yes, it's good because it's showing cracks in this administration, but it's not going to lead to any long-term change because he is resigning to save himself.
The president is dealing with the first major defection from his administration over his decision to go to war in Iran. Joe Kent, the director of the National Counterterrorism Center in the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, posted his resignation letter to President Trump online this morning, saying, quote, "I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby." Kent went on to say that he believes high-ranking Israeli officials and influential members of the American media deployed a misinformation campaign, creating an echo chamber that deceived Trump into believing that there was a clear path to swift victory. This was a lie, Kent wrote. Now, he said that as a veteran who deployed to combat 11 times and as a Gold Star husband who lost his wife to what he calls a war manufactured by Israel, Kent cannot support sending the next generation to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people. Now, Kent's late wife, Shannon Kent, was a Navy officer, military cryptologist, linguist, and intelligence team member who was killed in a suicide bombing in Syria in 2019. Now, we expect to see Kent's boss, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, testify on Capitol Hill later this week in a long-scheduled hearing on worldwide threats. The resignation will likely be a central piece of questioning from Democrats in that hearing, and we'll watch to see how the president handles questions about it if he gets them in the Oval Office in just a couple of minutes, guys.
Breaking news. Joe Kent, Director of the National Counterterrorism Center and a major MAGA figure, resigned today over the ongoing war in Iran. In his ex-post, he wrote, "I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. It is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby." As the person in charge of counterterrorism, who knows more than anyone about supposed terror threats, especially with reports of recent attacks this past month, he clearly saw something and chose to speak out. This is huge, and I commend Joe Kent for his brave stand. People are waking up inch by inch. Yesterday, Donald Trump said in a press conference that we were shocked when Iran hit U.S. military bases and offices in surrounding countries. Shocked? Iranian leaders had warned for months. I seen them on X that if the U.S. started the war, those would be the first targets, and that's exactly what happened. It only makes sense. If someone's launching attacks from your neighbor's house while the neighbor allows it, you hit the neighbor's house too. What did Trump expect? Iran would just take the hits? He also claimed their missiles are nearly depleted. But where's that intel coming from? We don't know every missile's location. And Iran says they're ready for a 10-year war with their stockpiles after 47 years of preparation. I believe them. In the last 24 hours, Iran's press TV reported missile and drone barrages hitting Israel, including near Netanyahu's office in Jerusalem, causing widespread destruction. Israeli authorities admitted over 120 injured in the past day, with total hospitalized since the war began now around 1,400 people. Iran vows to keep retaliating until victory and rejects any ceasefire, calling it unprovoked Zionist American aggression. Meanwhile, Western outlets report Israel launched new strikes at Tehran and other sites, targeting air defenses, bases, and command centers. Israeli sources claim they killed top security chief Ali Rajani. Iran hasn't confirmed it yet, but Israel is usually accurate on these. If true, big mistake, as he was a voice of reason, open to talks, and a potential ceasefire contact. Whoever replaces him could be a hardliner, and we're not going to like it. Israel also says Iran's missile capability is degraded by 90%, with production facilities damaged, but I doubt they can know that for sure. The news changes by the minute in this war, so stay tuned for more updates.
The director of the National Counterterrorism Center, Joe Kent, resigned today in protest of the Iran war. And a lot of people are already talking about it, but I haven't heard many of them reading you what he actually said. So I'm going to take a few excerpts here just to reinforce how impactful this actually is. President Trump, after much reflection, I have decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center effective today. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. Early in this administration, high-ranking Israeli officials and influential members of the American media deployed a misinformation campaign that wholly undermined your America First platform and sowed pro-war sentiments to encourage a war with Iran. This echo chamber was used to deceive you into believing that Iran posed an imminent threat to the United States and that should you strike now, there was a clear path to a swift victory. This was a lie. I pray that you will reflect upon what we are doing in Iran and who we are doing it for. The time for bold action is now. You can reverse course and chart a new path for our nation, or you can allow us to slip further toward decline and chaos. You hold the cards.
Moments ago, his name is Joe Kent. He is the director of National Counterterrorism, the National Counterterrorism Center. He submitted his resignation from the position, and he says, and I quote here, "I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. And it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby." That's huge. It can feel like I'm saying I'm over here and I'm just talking about things that have to do with the Trump administration over and over again about them waging war without a plan, throwing the global economy into chaos. And it can feel like, an echo chamber. But it is, I think this is a big deal. And it actually feels nice when someone inside the Trump administration lets him have it. When someone inside the administration says no and actually says what everyone is thinking. And then I'm not afraid.
A lot of you are hearing about Joe Kent today. He resigned as the director of the National Counterterrorism Center because he disagrees with the president's current military operation in Iran. Much of the attention is focused on his claim that Iran posed no imminent threat and that we were pressured into this conflict by Israel and its American lobby. That's led some to call him a traitor and question his loyalty to the nation. Now, let me be very clear. While he's obviously not aligned with the president's mission, and while I disagree with his assessment of the situation in Iran, Joe Kent is not a traitor. 11 combat deployments, 6 Bronze Stars, Green Beret, CIA, Gold Star husband. Nobody can honestly question this man's loyalty to this nation or even to the president simply because he resigned over a policy disagreement. And Kent did the right thing. The president needs people around him who support his decisions rather than undermine anything from the inside, like others have done. Kent simply stepped aside. That's how it's supposed to work. Now, his public characterization of the situation is absolutely open for debate. But when you consider his 11 deployments and the fact that his wife Shannon, a Navy senior chief and cryptologist, was KIA in Syria, it's completely understandable that he'd want to avoid new conflicts in the region. That doesn't come from disloyalty. It comes from sacrifice. We can disagree with his take and still respect the man and still respect his service. That's not weakness. That's how America is supposed to work.
This was really a remarkable letter that Joe Kent sent to the president and then posted on social media announcing that he was resigning effective immediately as the head of the National Counterterrorism Center because, in his words, he cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran because the country posed no imminent threat to the U.S., saying that it's clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. He also claims that high-ranking Israeli officials and influential media members here in the United States deployed a misinformation campaign that has undermined President Trump's America First platform, saying that that was used to deceive the president into believing that Iran posed an imminent threat and that there was a clear path to a swift victory. Kent saying in this letter, this was a lie and will lead the U.S. into another disastrous situation in the Middle East like the war in Iraq. Kent himself is an Iraq war veteran. He was deployed, he says, 11 times into combat. He lost his wife in a suicide bomb attack in Syria. She was also in the military. And he was also a top aide to intelligence director Tulsi Gabbard and somebody that had supported Trump's idea to keep the United States out of foreign wars. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, just gave comments and was asked about this, and he really dug in on the idea that there was an imminent threat, saying that he had been briefed on this. He said that Iran was very close in its nuclear capability to enrich uranium, and of course there was the strikes last June during that 12-day war, after which the president said that all of Iran's nuclear capabilities had been destroyed. Johnson also said that Iran was building missiles at a pace that no one in the region could keep pace with. So he believes that there was, in fact, an imminent threat here, but the person who has the intelligence, who has the confidential intelligence, saying that that is simply not true.
Joe Kent, the National Counterterrorism Director for Donald Trump, has resigned. He resigned due to the Iran war. He thinks it's an outrage, and he thinks Israel pushed us into it. Here's the beginning of his statement. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. That is the God's honest truth. So, of course, Israel First is in a rage. They're sending wave after wave to attack him. People in media pretending to be reporters, people that are pretending to be Democrats. Moskowitz is out there, Jake Tapper's out there, Brock Ravid. They're all attacking. How dare anyone in the American government criticize Israel? Well, we're going to do it tonight. Young Turks on YouTube at 6 o'clock Eastern, Monday through Friday, every day. We'll give you all the details of this.
We have stunning breaking news right now. A top Trump official has just resigned from his job in protest of the war in Iran. I never thought I would see this day, but here we are. Joe Kent is the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, a top deputy for Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence. Kent was appointed by Donald Trump. He has now resigned effective today, and in his resignation statement just posted minutes ago on Twitter, he says, quote, I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. That is a top Trump official who had access to classified information, served in the office of the Director of National Intelligence, led the National Counterterrorism Center, and has resigned from his job effective today. Stunning news right now. Follow along for all the news you need to know about.
So the big story in American politics now is about this guy, whose name is Joe Kent. He is the head of the National Counterterrorism Center, or was, because today he resigned. but he said that he cannot support the war because he said that it's actually a war for Israel. This is what he posted to X. He says, "After much reflection, I have decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center effective today. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. It has been an honor serving under President of the United States and Tulsi Gabbard and leading the professionals at the National Counterterrorism Center. May God bless America." Now, attached to that post was his official letter where he said here, "President Trump, after much reflection, I have decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center effective today." He emphasizes again, which I think is his main point, Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and he says that he cannot support the war in good conscience, and says it's clear that this war started due to pressure again from Israel and the American lobby tied to Israel. He says, "I support the values and the foreign policies that you campaigned on in 2016, 2020, and 2024, which you enacted in your first term, saying that until June of 2025, you, President Trump, understood that the wars in the Middle East were a trap that robbed America of the precious lives of our patriots and depleted the wealth and prosperity of our nation. Saying in your first administration, you understood better than any modern president how to decisively apply military power without getting us drawn into never-ending wars. You demonstrated this by killing Qasem Soleimani and defeating ISIS." He says early in the administration, high-ranking Israeli officials and influential members of the American media deployed a misinformation campaign that wholly undermined your America First platform and sowed pro-war sentiments to encourage a war with Iran. This is an echo chamber that was used to deceive you into believing that Iran posed an imminent threat to the United States and that you should strike now and that there was a clear path to a swift victory. This was a lie.
Somebody asked a critical question. Is it America first or is it Israel first? But I don't think Trump has the same answer with what Americans are talking about. Because the interest, because the things, I mean, all of these culminates down to personal interests. What do you have to gain in this? What do Americans have to gain in all these conflicts that Trump is trying to push them into it? And I think Americans, especially people who are serving Trump like inside the administration, are really getting to get the wind of what's really happening. And they're now saying that, oh, it's not America first. It is Israel first. You remember these military, I don't know if he was in the parliament, he broke his hand saying that he ain't going to fight for Israel. He doesn't support anything to do with Israel. But this is what is happening. People are getting to catch the wind of what is going on. And they are saying that enough is enough. We ain't gonna be fighting for you. It's not worth it. We can't send our kids, we can't send our parents, we can't send our relatives to fight for nothing but for Israel. Israel got issues with Iraq. Let them solve it, because Israel has been doing things that are so inhuman to Iran. So if United States want to get into this, then we know the repercussions. We know what will come for American citizens. It's not something which is good. It's not something which is worth celebrating. So all that you see is going on right now is what? Something that people should have known long time ago. Trump is trying to conceal something. And something that he's trying to conceal, majority of people that advises him, majority of people that surrounds him are getting to see that something is wrong. Somebody is saying that both Nyang'au and Trump should be impeached or imprisoned for crimes against humanity, for killing those little defenseless children. How in the name of God can anyone sleep at night knowing that they have that much blood on their hands all over big lie? These people are not leaders, and God, Yahusha, will definitely have the last to say. It is true, because I believe that there is an awakening that is going on, and people are seeing something. There is something deep with this war. There is something deep as to why Trump is trying to drag American citizens, innocent people, into this. There is something deep about it. There's just something deep that he has towards Americans. And he wants American blood. There's just something deep about it. Somebody is saying that we know Iran has no beef with the US. None of them do. America creates it, then tries to save us. They are about to do something. No fear. The animals thrive off it. Definitely there's somebody who is benefiting. When all this craziness go on, we all know the truth that we have people that benefit. When all this craziness that we are seeing goes on, somebody is saying if there is another attack by the American government on US soil, there is no guarantee there won't be personal consequences for those who committed it. Iran will not be blamed because the US already lost its opportunity to pull another evil act like that by starting the war. Even if Iran did attack the US after the US bombed a school filled with children, the US should have it coming. And so far, Iran has not been targeting civilians. The US lost the narrative a long time ago. So if there is another attack, it will be known that the American government or the CIA did it. It will definitely be seen as a treason. Somebody also said that many American soldiers died because of these wars of lies, and some of them black Americans. People in America lost their loved ones because of this stupid USA president who was so blinded by the lies and helped bomb to kill innocent Iran 148 children, all because to help Israel and avoid Epstein files, and Israel has everything handy to them for medical care, higher education free, living in low rentals, good housing. Then you as Americans, and then the USA president is helping them more than US Americans, while they treating black Americans like shit and brown people like shit, while we Americans live in high price house rents, paying for college education and paying into Medicare with no free healthcare and more, while Israel was living better than US America. Like WTF? No, bruh. F this. America needs to tell Israel no more. America needs to help Americans ourselves first before anyone. You all stay safe out there, Black Farm. Peace. So really, tell me what you think about this, brothers and sisters, because this is craziness that is going on right now. I really want to get to know your opinion in regards to this. I'm your host and presenter. But until then, let me see you on my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.